Hebrews. This is our Prophets of Awakening. This is our advanced Bible study, the 28th of June, 2022. We're going to pick up where we at and finish up with breaking down Daniel, um, starting at verse 10, chapter 10. Like and share, subscribe. I'm asking everybody to like and share and subscribe to Prophets of Awakening channel and hit the notification button if you can. For those that don't know, this is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. So I want to say shalom and welcome to Prophets of Awakening channel, and welcome to our advanced Bible study class. We're going to do our moment of silence, our prayer, psalms, current events, and then we go into a little need to know information and some Q&A. Then we'll start breaking down, finish breaking down Daniel. Okay. This moment of silence is for Lord of Hosts and our Most High, Yahweh, and all that they're doing to orchestrate our deliverance. Oh Lord, we thank you for your great mercy and your great power and wisdom. And we tarry waiting for your powerful deliverance of your people Israel. Oh Lord, you have given us insight into the scriptures of our forefathers. And you, oh Lord, has directed us to who you are and your role in the goings on of heaven and earth. Oh Lord, you spoke through your prophet Isaiah and said that you will help Abraham's seed, and that you have done. Okay. You said, oh Lord, that you would remove the darkness from around us. Tarry not, oh Lord, for the latter days are here, and we are waiting and watching for you, oh Lord. Peace be on you. Okay. So read the Psalms. Okay. It's Psalm 96. It's a call to praise Yahweh. Oh, sing unto the Lord a new song. Sing unto the Lord all the earth. Sing unto the Lord. Bless his name. Show forth his salvation from day to day. Declare his glory among the heathen, his wonders among all people. For the Lord is great, and greatly is to be praised. He is to be feared above all gods. For all the gods of heaven, all the gods of the nations are idols, as the Lord made the heavens. Honor and majesty are before him, strength and beauty are in his sanctuary. Give unto the Lord, O ye kindred of the people. Give unto the Lord glory and strength. Give unto the Lord, O ye kindred of the people, and give unto the Lord the glory and his strength. Give unto the Lord the glory due unto his name. Bring an offering and come into his courts. O worship the Lord in the beauty of holiness. Fear before him all the earth. Say among the heathen that the Lord reigneth. The world also shall be established, that it shall not be moved. He shall judge the people righteously. Let the heavens rejoice, and let the earth be glad, and let the sea roar, and its fullness thereof, and let the fields be joyful, and all that is therein. Then shall all the trees of the woods rejoice before the Lord, for he cometh to judge the earth. He shall judge the world with righteousness, and the people with his truth. Okay? Any comments on that? Shalom, Markel. Any comments? Okay. I got one that's right here that says, 4 and 5. It says, for the Lord is great, greatly to be praised. He is to be feared above all gods. So we see that right there, lowercase. So we see right here, it's an angel. It says, for the Lord is great, greatly to be praised. He is to be feared above all gods. That's lowercase, all else. 5. For all the L's, lowercase g, of the nations are idols, but the Lord made the heavens. Honor and majesty are before him. Strength and beauty are in his sanctuary. Okay. So with that being said, we're going to move on to our current events.
democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Gustavo Petro has won Colombia's presidential election in an historic vote. Petro is a former M19 guerrilla, former mayor of Bogota. He will become Colombia's first leftist president after vowing to fight worsening inequality in Colombia with landmark policies, including a tax reform and redistribution of pension savings. In an election runoff, Petro won about 50.5% of the vote, defeating the right-wing businessman Rodolfo Hernandez, who won about 47% of the vote. Petro's running mate, the Afro-Colombian environmentalist Francia Marquez Mina, also made history. She becomes Colombia's first Black vice president. On Sunday, Petro addressed supporters.
Nosotros vamos a desarrollar el capitalismo en Colombia.
We will develop capitalism in Colombia.
No porque lo adoremos,
not because we worship it,
sino porque tenemos primero que superar
but because we first have to overcome pre-modernity in Colombia,
el feudalismo en Colombia,
feudalism in Colombia, and the new slavery.
Esclavismos, la nueva esclavitud. Tenemos que superar mentalidades.
We must overcome the past mentalities and behaviors linked to that world of slavery.
We'll have more on the Colombian elections after headlines, and we'll hear interviews with both the vice president and president-elect. In news from France, President Emmanuel Macron's centrist party has lost its absolute majority in France's parliament in a major setback for Macron. His coalition won a total of 245 seats in Sunday's election. A left-wing coalition led by Jean-Luc Mélenchon won 131 seats, while Marine Le Pen's far-right National Rally Party won 89 seats. On Sunday, Mélenchon praised the results of the election.
C'est une situation totalement inattendue.
It's a totally unexpected situation, absolutely unprecedented. It's the total defeat of the president's party, and there is no majority. We've achieved the political objective we gave ourselves in under a month to bring down the man who with such arrogance twisted the arm of the whole country to get elected without us knowing what he was going to do when he was.
Russia appears close to capturing the eastern Ukrainian city of Severodonetsk after weeks of fierce fighting. Russia's escalating its attack on the city's Azot chemical plant, where hundreds of civilians and Ukrainian fighters have sought shelter. Russia has also increased shelling of the nearby city of Lysychansk. If Russia seizes the two cities, thousands of Ukrainian forces could be stranded. Meanwhile, Ukraine has attacked offshore oil and gas drilling platforms off the coast of Crimea and the Black Sea. The Wall Street Journal reports the attacks could cost Russia billions of dollars in damage and lost revenue. Hours after the attack, Russia fired rockets at the southern Ukrainian city of Odessa in the largest attack on the city in weeks. Meanwhile, Russia's acknowledged it plans to put on trial 2 U.S. veterans who were captured fighting in Ukraine. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov has said the men were mercenaries and are not subject to the Geneva Conventions. The Russian journalist Dmitry Muratov has auctioned off his Nobel Peace Prize for over $103 million to raise money for Ukrainian child refugees. Muratov, who won the Nobel Prize last year, spoke prior to the auction.
My
country invaded the territory of another state, Ukraine. There are now 15.5 million refugees, and how one must deal with this is completely incomprehensible. We thought for a long time about what we could do, what each individual could do, and we thought that everyone should give away that which is dear to them, important to them.
In March, Muratov closed his newspaper, Novaya Gazeta, after receiving a warning from a Russian state censor over its coverage of the invasion of Ukraine. Israel appears to be headed to its fifth election in 3 years after Prime Minister Naftali Bennett announced he will soon resign and dissolve parliament. Foreign Minister Yair Lapid will soon take over to lead a caretaker government until the election is held. A new vote could result in Benjamin Netanyahu returning to power. The New York Times has wrapped up a months-long investigation into the recent fatal shooting of Al Jazeera reporter Shireen Abu Akleh in the occupied West Bank. At the time of her death, Shireen was covering an Israeli military raid in the Jenin refugee camp. The Times found, quote, the bullet that killed Ms. Abu Akleh was fired from the approximate location of the Israeli military convoy, most likely by a soldier from an elite unit, unquote. Last week, Al Jazeera reported the bullet that killed Abu Akleh was a U.S.-made armor-piercing bullet that's used by the Israeli military. Unprecedented rain has killed at least 116 people in India and Bangladesh. Millions of people have been displaced from their homes or trapped by flooding. On Friday, one area of India recorded almost 40 inches of rain in a single day. One of Bangladesh's largest airports is underwater. The flooding comes just a month after catastrophic flooding in northeastern Bangladesh left 4 million people homeless, including 1.6 million children. This comes as India is facing record-breaking heat that has devastated wheat production, as well as the mango harvest and other signs of the global climate emergency. Temperatures in Iran soared to 126 degrees Fahrenheit Monday. Last week, the heat index soared to 165 degrees Fahrenheit in parts of Iran due to high heat and high humidity. In Spain, the January 6th committee, Illinois Republican Congressmember Adam Kinzinger has revealed he recently received a death threat targeting him, his wife, and their newborn child. Kinzinger is one of only 2 Republicans on the House Select Committee. Last year, he was one of just 10 Republicans who voted to impeach Donald Trump after the insurrection. In related news, former Missouri Governor Eric Greitens has released a new campaign ad calling for moderate Republicans known as rhinos to be hunted down and shot. Rhino stands for Republicans in name only. In the video, Eric Greitens, a Republican candidate for the U.S. Senate in Missouri, is seen with a shotgun raiding a house alongside a group of heavily armed men in battle gear.
I'm Eric Greitens, Navy SEAL, and today we're going rhino hunting. The rhino feeds on corruption and is marked by the stripes of cowardice.
Facebook has removed the campaign video and Twitter blocked it from being shared. In 2018, Eric Greitens resigned as governor of Missouri after a woman he was having an affair with accused him of sexual assault and taking non-consensual nude photographs after he tied her up naked in his basement. Greitens' ex-wife has also accused him of abusing her and their young son. The Texas Republican Party has approved a radical new platform. It rejects the results of the 2020 election, claims Joe Biden's not the legitimately elected president of the United States. The Texas GOP also calls for the abolition of abortion, the prohibition of sex education in schools, and the overturning of the Supreme Court case legalizing same-sex marriage while referring to homosexuality as, quote, an abnormal lifestyle choice, unquote. The Republican platform also criticizes Republican Senator John Cornyn of Texas for working on a bipartisan gun legislation. The platform also reiterates that Texas retains the right to secede from the United States. Workers at an Apple store in Towson, Maryland, have voted to become the first unionized Apple store in the country. Despite pressure from Apple, about 2/3 of the store's workers voted to be represented by the Apple Coalition of Organized Retail Employees. On Monday, President Biden said he's proud of the workers who unionized. And thousands gathered in Washington, D.C. Saturday for the mass Poor People's and Low-Wage Workers Assembly and Moral March. Speakers included Bishop William Barber, co-chair of the Poor People's Campaign, which organized the Day of Action.
We know that when the nation is moving away from the principles of life, liberty, justice, the pursuit of happiness for all people, and there's been a long train of abuses, and the nation has become more profitable for a few and less perfect for others, we must correct the nation, and we can't be silent anymore.
And those are some of the
Okay, any comments? Shalom. So, okay, so anybody have any comments on that? Okay, got some need to know information right here.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm going to Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm going to start this video off by saying or quoting the scripture that I quote very often. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So a number of you shared this story with me, and this is one of those stories that just really has your mind going to the scripture that I just quoted. What would possess a person to do what this woman did? So the story goes on to say that 3 children are dead after a woman allegedly tried to stab them during a house fire. During a house fire. Let's get into this story, y'all. Okay, so it says 3 children dead after a woman allegedly tried to stab the kids during a house fire. It says a deadly fire at a home on Woodbine Drive in Paulding County claimed the lives of 3 children on Friday. The sheriff's office said a woman is behind bars facing charges for the incident that authorities call a domestic disturbance and house fire. So for me, right away, it says, okay, how did the house fire start, right? How did that start? It says, while the investigation into the fire is ongoing, residents are trying to process the tragic loss of those children who were inside at the time and died, allegedly, at the hands of the person who was supposed to protect them. I just don't know who would do that to their kids. That's coming from another resident. Paulding County authorities said they received a call about the fire and domestic disturbance at the home just after 9 p.m. Friday. They were told that at the same time, flames were growing inside the home. A 40-year-old Darlene Brister was trying to stab the children. She had to be sick or so selfish and so self-centered that she didn't care about anything or anyone. And that's coming from another resident. Okay, she and her husband recalled the chaotic scene just down the street from their home. Another neighbor told Fox 5 they witnessed residents trying to help some of the kids out of the home while a few of the others jumped out of a second-story window. I'm just glad they got out. For that woman to do that is unbelievably selfish. All she had to do was take the kids to a hospital, drop them off. That's coming from another resident. It says fire crews got the flames under control and found the remaining children inside. Two of them were pronounced dead at the scene, while medics rushed three others to the hospital to be treated for their injuries. One of those children later died. There's nothing about that made sense anyhow. Um, Residents with heavy hearts stopped by the home that is now a crime scene on Saturday, leaving flowers and toys by the mailbox. That situation is so sad. All them little kids. It's just an unimaginable situation. People care, resident Dale Butterworth said in an interview with Fox 5. Neighbors said they have started a GoFundMe account to help with funeral costs, and their focus now is showing support for the family that lost everything. Hmm. Brister is currently in custody without bond. She's facing charges of malice murder, and authorities in Paulding County said there could be more charges filed as the investigation continues.
Okay. Anybody heard about that?
Shalom. Yeah, I did. I read about that yesterday, and that seems to be happening more and more. And I notice it's more in Georgia, Texas, and Tennessee for some reason. I don't just those three states are in the news a lot about parents killing their children.
Okay. Is it some?
That's odd. Wow.
Okay. Is this some? Yeah, it's like got to do with some kind of brainwashing or something. Yeah.
But if you really looked in her eyes, when her photo was up, I mean, to me, you can really look in a person's face and in their eyes and really tell if something's not right with them. And she just really looked disturbed. And I think, we're going to see more of that as we go into, hard times where, parents that are already struggling and things like that, that's going to be abandoning or killing their children.
Right, just no breakdown.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Is that something? Okay. Yeah, that was 3 days after a woman allegedly tried to stab kids during the house fire. So this you want to go and watch it. It's on video. Okay. And with that being said, I'm opening up for Q&A. Anybody got any questions or comments about anything they came across or something they heard on Prophets of Awakening? You want to get some clarity on or discuss it? Okay. I'm going to play this right here. Mm-hmm.
Epic, the great angelic war. There's a disturbance in the essence. Every being in heaven could feel it. A shifting of reality-changing level was about to happen. Most of the heavenly hosts knew or partially knew what.
This is a story about supposedly a great angelic war before Genesis. So let's go check it out and see if we can glean from it.
was happening, but no one would be prepared for the chaos that was soon to come. Never had there been division in the holy place. Never had the influence of the darkness broke through the barrier of the everlasting light. For ages upon ages, there was nothing but love, light, and eternal harmony amongst the Creator and His creation in His holy place. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, that would all change. Nothing would ever be the same after the events that are about to unfold. The signal came in the form of a trumpet blast, and the Black Third began to mobilize at the speed of light. Everyone in their respective lines and ranks. The more powerful angels were positioned on the front lines, and the weaker ones brought up the rear. There was no sound to be heard, only the shifting in the atmosphere as the beings of light, now clothed in darkness, assembled themselves against the Lord Almighty. As far as sight could see was an endless sea of black that began to form ranks as the fellow angels watched in confusion and horror. They would have to strike quickly to do the most damage before God's holy angels interfere. They were all gathered in the courtyard of Nomulus, which is the vast expanse beyond the sea of glass before the mountain of the throne. Normally, to enter into the presence of the one from beyond, one must fly into the realm of his mouth.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna intercede right here for a minute. So, you say, well, why you playing this? So, while you listen to this, keep in mind that wisdom is a woman, right? So what we heard so far is Samuel and his dark angels. That's what they just said. The dark angels, they had lost their light, so they didn't stage the attack on heaven against the Most High. So the next person in charge is wisdom, is woman. And heaven is on attack right now. So keep that in mind.
Marvelous light and just bask in it. But Lucifer decided he wants his armies to march on the holy grounds of Nomulus all the way to the base of the throne steps. Now the thunderous boom of trillions of feet echo in the essence as they make haste towards the place of the Most High. As they walked up the mountain, they see the sights that Lucifer alone and the Unon had only seen. For some of these angels, this will be the closest they've ever been to the one from beyond. The evil upon them was a great stench in God's holy places, and grounds hissed and cried out as they marched. The inhabitants of the kingdom began to fall silent, one by one, as the ocean of blackness filled the expanse of Nomulus and began to cover the crystal mountain of God in black as they moved higher into the essence. The 24 elders barely noticed their presence as they are suspended in the essence, giving never-ending praise and worship to the one from beyond. They wore robes of living eternal flame that changed colors. Soon their praises became drowned in the sounds of the vast armies of Lucifer. As they crossed the sea of glass, what takes notice to the coming tide of blackness are the four mighty beasts full of eyes before and behind the base of the throne. The first beast was like a lion, and the second beast like a calf. The third beast had a face as a man, and the fourth beast was like a flying eagle. Each of the four beasts had 6 wings and were filled with eyes inside and out. These beasts never rest and worship day and night, saying, "Holy, holy, holy, Lord God Almighty, which was and is." At first it looked as if they were going to attack, but at some unheard command they stayed at peace and continued to worship. They growled and barked as the angels marched by, but did not attack. The 4 mighty beasts bow their heads and back away at Lucifer's approach. There was thunder and lightning and voices, the many names of God whispering over and over. Floating high in the essence were 7 massive lamps of fire burning, which were the 7 spirits of God. The lamps were glowing orbs of golden light. These lamps began to pulsate a bright red light as the armies of evil passed by. It was as if the most holy of places could feel the evil in his presence. Sounds of the great holy mountain grew less as they marched higher. Leading the massive black third was the Unon archangel Lucifer. Normally he is adorned in majestic jewels with gleaming organ pipes coming out of his back below massive white and gold wings. Now he wears an epic cloak of darkness covering his beauty. The radiant flame of divine light that was his hair has somehow been extinguished, leaving a figure void of true purpose. Next to him, and also dressed in black, is Nod, constantly assuring Lucifer that his rightful place is on the holy seat. His flame has also been extinguished, along with all of the Black Third, in their ultimate show of defiance to the one from beyond. The powers, thrones, cherubims, and seraphims all clothed themselves in black, and on the back of their cloak was branded the new Luciferian seal in the color of human blood. As they reach high into the essence sphere, it is almost dead silent now. The only sounds are the feet of many and the whispers coming from the ranks. Many are scared beyond comprehension, but they still maintain faith in their leaders. That vast number of their younger brothers, what was about to take place will be remembered forever and ever. Satan looked at them in disgust, and then looked back at his armies. Remember this day, my brothers. Attack! At his command, a haze of black took flight. Billions of flapping wings create a deafening, thunderous boom that echoes in the essence. Satan snarled and rips his tail at his brothers, knocking them aside. He then fires another disruptive blast from 3 heads at the back of the father. This blast, a horrific black ball with a blood-red tail, hisses through the essence, but is then intercepted. Gabriel takes the blast head-on, using his wings as a shield. As his vision is blocked by wings, Baal blasts him from behind, sending him crashing towards the mob of black. Satan fires again, this time from all 7 heads. This blast was the most epic so far. With Michael and Gabriel both currently out of the battle, it's certain that this blast will connect. The holy mountain of God begins to quake at the coming destruction. The beam connects. Everything goes white and silent for what would be considered 10 seconds. Then the sounds of battle fade in, as well as vision slowly returns. To Satan's shock and horror, when the light and smoke clear, he now sees the one above all, now facing him, unharmed, unfazed, and very much unamused. Attack the inhabitants of evil, God says, as the holy angelic army descends into the battlefield like a giant swarm of light. White and black dance in a grey haze of carnage. Michael and Gabriel continue their attack on Satan, who is growing more and more angry as the battle rages on. Michael slashes at one of Satan's heads with his mighty sun sword, injuring him from the neck. The beast lets out a deafening howl as a spiked tail impales Michael. Baal laughs as Michael drops his sword. Baal says as he yanks his tail out and kicks him in the face, sending him crashing towards Gabriel. Satan to the earth realms below, wings flap in futility as the very essence is now under the authority of the void. The sound of their futile howls is only eclipsed by the deafening growl produced by the hunger of the void. Baal and Nod strain to hold their ground, but are overwhelmed by the sheer will of the void and are swept away into the thunderous galaxy of oblivion. The angelic host begins to weep in unison as their brothers exit God's holy place. Finally, the most powerful and first angel, Lucifer, begins to slowly descend towards the void. He keeps his hate-filled glare on the sun and does not resist the pull of the void. As he inches close to the bottomless pit, he spreads his mighty wings wide, and the remaining shards of his black cloak evaporates. His mutilated body shines his divine light, still the most beautiful of all, even in his defeated state. As arrogant and as proud as ever, he shouts with a loud voice, "They may have been a little lower than my brothers. They can never be me."
Okay. Any comments on that? Anything jar anybody's mind?
That's something. Oh my goodness. And what's the name of that again?
That's before Genesis, the great angelic war.
Okay, before Genesis.
So, like I was saying before, Satan waged the war on heaven, and the Most High right hand man is wisdom, woman. Think about that. Ain't that something? Yeah, let it ferment. Okay, with that being said, we're gonna go into the class. This like I said, I stopped over the weekend. I stopped on Daniel chapter 9. I'm gonna pick it back up in Daniel chapter 10. And I'll start reading. Okay. Daniel chapter 10. Okay. So it says, Daniel's vision by the great river. In the 3rd year of Cyrus, king of Persia, a thing was revealed unto Daniel. His name was called Belshazzar. And the thing was true, but the time appointed was long. And he understood the thing and had understanding of the vision. In those days, I, Daniel, was mourning 3 weeks, and I ate no pleasant bread, neither came flesh nor wine in my mouth, neither did I anoint myself at all, till 3 whole weeks were fulfilled. And in the 4th and 20th day of the 1st month, as I was by the side of the great river, which is Hiddekel, then I lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man, clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with the gold of Upas. His body also was like beryl, and his face had the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as lamps of fire, and his arms and his feet like the color of polished brass, and the voice of his words was like the voice of a multitude. And I, Daniel, alone saw the vision, for the men that were with me saw not the vision, but a great quaking fell upon them, so they fled to hide themselves. Therefore I was left alone, saw the great vision, and there remained no strength in me. My comeliness was turned in me into corruption, and I retained no strength. Yet I heard the voice of his words. And when I had heard the voice of his words, then was I in a deep sleep on my face, and my face toward the ground. And behold, a hand touched me, which set me upright, set me upon my knees, and upon the palms of my hands. And he said unto me, O Daniel, a man greatly beloved, understand the words that I speak unto thee, and stand upright, for unto thee am I now sent. And when he had spoken these words unto me, I said, trembling. Then said he unto me, fear not, Daniel, for from the first day that thou didst set thine heart to understand and to chasten thyself before thy God, thy words were heard, and I am come for thy words. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days. But lo, Michael, one of the chief prince, came to help me, and I remained there with the king of Persia. Now I am come to make thee understand what shall befall the people in the latter days, for yet the vision is for many days. And when he had spoken such words unto me, I set my face toward the ground and became dumb. And behold, one like the similitude of sons of men touched my lips. Then I opened my mouth and spake and said unto him that stood before me, O my Lord, by the vision my sorrows are turned upon me, and I have retained no strength. But how can the servant of this my Lord talk with this my Lord? For as for me, straightway there remained no strength in me, neither is there breath left in me. Then there came again and touched me one like the appearance of a man, and he strengthened me and said, O man, greatly beloved, fear not, peace be unto thee. Be strong, yea, be strong. And when he had spoken unto me, I was strengthened. And he said, let my Lord speak, so thou hast strengthened me. Then said he, Knowest thou wherefore I come unto thee? And now I will return to fight with the prince of Persia. And when I have gone forth, know the prince of Greece, excuse me, the prince of Greece shall come. But I will show thee that which is noted in the scriptures of truth, and there is none that holdeth with me in these things but Michael, your prince. So, if you look at verse 21, it says, But I will show thee that which is noted in the scriptures of truth, and there is none that holdeth with me in these things but Michael, your prince. So, Gabriel is talking to Daniel, right? And he says that the scriptures of truth is the book that these angels looking on. And Gabriel just informed him that it's only him and Michael looking at it. But my point is what I want to try to shine a light on for somebody that want to know the truth. It says, let me get it. Yeah, so let me get it. I'm gonna start back at 14. I'm trying to find the verse right quick. So it says, now I am come to make thee understand. Let me get it. Yeah, I'll make thee understand what shall be in the fall, be followed by people in the latter days, for yet the vision is for many days, right? So timeline for this is that he's saying Israel's coming to nations coming to an end. And he's saying that they in Babylon, they're getting ready to leave Babylon, but he says that in the latter days mean the days before the nation of Israel is brought to the end. That's what he's saying. So 15 says, and when he had spoken such words unto me, I set my face toward the ground, and behold, I was dumb. And this is the point I want to shine light on. And behold, one like the similitude of the Son of Man touched my lips. Then I opened my mouth and spake, and said unto him that stood before me, O my Lord. Notice it's lowercase here. By the vision, my soul has turned upon me, and I have attained no strength. And then for how can the servant of this my Lord, lowercase, talk with this my Lord? As for me, straightway there remaineth no strength in me, neither is there breath in me, right? Then there came again and touched me like the appearance of a man, and he strengthened me. And he said, O man greatly beloved, fear not, peace be unto thee. Be strong, yea, be strong. And when he had spoken unto me, I was strengthened, and he said, let my Lord speak, for thou hast strengthened me. Okay, let me get back over here. I'm missing something. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, here you go. Verse 11. So this Gabriel talking. Verse 11 says, and he said unto me, O Daniel, a man greatly beloved, understand the words that I speak unto thee, and stand upright, for unto thee am I now sent. Well, you see that? So Gabriel, somebody sent Gabriel. Well, if you go to verse 21, but I will show thee that which is noted in the scriptures of truth, and there's none that holdeth with me in these things but Michael, your prince. Notice how Gabriel telling him, I ain't the prince over you, Michael is. So this is sent Gabriel right here. Now I want to show you something else right quick. So it says, you go to chapter 12, and I want to show you this because this go continue on from chapter. Let me get it. Chapter. chapter 7, chapter 8, the ram and the he-goat. If you go to verses, I can't even read. I can't even see this. Anyway, this interpretation, Daniel chapter 8, verses 1 through 14 was a dream. It's the ram and he-goat. Then verse 15 says, and it came to pass, and I, Daniel, had seen the vision and sought the meaning, and behold, there stood before me the appearance of a man. But look at this. I heard a man's voice between the banks of the Ulai, right? And he said to Gabriel, see, Gabriel being commanded. So it's a man standing on the water that commanded Gabriel. So we go to chapter 12, verse 6. And verse 5 says, then I, Daniel, looked, and behold, there stood before me, stood the other two, one on this bank, on this side of the bank of the river, and the other on that side of the bank of the river. And the one said to the man clothed in linen, see that? This ain't Yahweh, clothed in linen, which was upon the water to the river. How long shall it be? So this is the same man right here in verse 6, chapter 12, that commanded Gabriel over here in Daniel chapter 8, verse 15. And it came to pass when I, Daniel, had seen the vision, sought for the meaning, right? Behold, there stood before me the appearance of a man. That's Gabriel. And then it says, and I heard a man's voice. Gabriel standing in front of him, but I heard a man's voice between the banks of the Ulai. It's the same person in Daniel chapter 12, verse 6. That's Michael. He commanded Gabriel to go and make Daniel understand. So what I'm showing you right here, these three angels just over here in Daniel 12, the vision, you're still dealing with it in Daniel chapter 8. You just continue on all through all those chapters. So my point is this too. So in verse 10, when you understand what's going on, I just read verse 10 and it says, so you check it out. I'm going to pick it up in chapter 10, verse 10. And behold, 9. I go to verse 8, start at verse 8. Therefore I was left alone, and I saw this great vision, right? And there remained no strength in me, and my comeliness was turned into corruption, and I retained no strength. Yet heard I the voice of his words, right? And when I heard the voice of his words, then I was in a deep sleep on my face, and my face toward the ground. And behold, a hand touched me, set me, check it out. So behold, there's 3 of them there. We know now there's 3 there, right? Behold, a hand touched me, he set me upon my knees and upon the palms of my hand. And he said unto me, O Daniel, a man greatly beloved, understand the words that I speak unto thee, and stand upright, for unto thee have I now sent. So we know Michael sent Gabriel. And when he had when he had spoken these words unto me, I stood trembling. Then said he unto me, fear not, Daniel, for the first day that thou didst set thy hand to understand and to chasten thyself before thy God, thy words were heard, and now come for thy words. As the prince of the kingdom of Persia, this is a fallen angel, withstood me 21 days, but lo, Michael, one of the chief prince, came to help me, and I remained there with the king of Persia. Now I am come to make thee understand what shall befall thy people in the latter days. But yet the vision is for many days. And when I had spoke, check it out. So Gabriel already came, right? Lifted him up and told him I came to talk to you. Right? 3 angels there. We know Michael standing on the wall. 15. And when he had spoken such words unto me, I set my face toward the ground, and I became dumb. Now here you go. Gabriel already came and stood him up right? Now 16. And behold, one like a similitude of another. Behold, one like the similitude of sons of men touched my lips. Then I opened my mouth, and I spake, and I said unto him that stood before me, O my Lord, lowercase, right? Uriel, by the vision, my sorrows are turned upon me, and I have obtained no strength. So 17, for how can like the servant of this my Lord talk with this my Lord? For as for me, straightway there remain no strength in me, neither is there breath in me. So the first angel came, stood him up, and told him, Gabriel, I'm coming to make you understand. Now, Uriel right here, 17. For how can the servant of this my Lord talk with this my Lord? For as for me, straightway, there was remain no strength in me. It is their breath left in me. Then there came again, see that? And touched me, one like the appearance of a man, and he strengthened me. See that? For Uriel came to strengthen him. Gabriel came to inform him. Michael, the one standing on the water, directing him. Okay? Just wanted to show you that. So anyway, another little nugget. It says in 15, and when he had strengthened me, and when he had spoken unto me, this Daniel 10, verse 15. When he had spoken unto me, he had spoken such words unto me, I set my face toward the ground and became dumb. And behold, one like the similitude of the sons of men touched my lips. Then I opened my mouth and spake. Check it out. And I said unto him that stood before me, O my Lord, lowercase, right? By the vision, my sorrows are turned upon me, and I have attained no strength. Now here we go. For how can the servant of this my Lord, right? How can the servant of this my Lord talk with this my Lord? They go to two lords, right? Both of them lowercase. For the Psalms like this. Somebody know what the hell going on. Long time ago. Anyway, so let me get Psalms. Psalms, let me get it. Make sure I'm in the right place. So where's that at? Where it says, the Lord said to my Lord. What psalm is that? Anybody know what it said? Okay, I go to chapter 8, Psalms 8, right?
Was it Psalm 110?
I'm gonna go. I look at this. I'm gonna deal with this one first. So I have two precepts or two witnesses. So Psalms 8, this Psalm of David, and it says, "O Lord, our Lord." Both of them high, both of them capital L's. See that? "O Lord, our Lord, how excellent is my name in all the earth. Who has set thy glory above the heavens?" See that? "O Lord," capital L. Anyway, so we're gonna go to 110. What Gabriel over here, or what Daniel said is, my Lord, how can this my Lord? Both of them lowercase. In the same being. Anyway, so I'm in Psalms 110. Psalms 110 says, yeah, here you go. Psalms 110, verse 1. The Lord said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand until I make thy enemies thy footstool. So set lowercase, me, capital L, both of them. The Lord said unto my Lord. So who is this Lord he's talking about? Genesis 18. Genesis, 18. Genesis 18. Okay, so we're gonna go through. We already been through this. I'm just gonna run it on right quick. So we in Genesis 18, and verse 1 says, "The Lord," it's capital L. "The Lord appeared unto him in the plains of Mamre, and he sat in the tent door in the heat of the day. He lifted up his eyes and looked, and lo, 3 men stood by him." Right. So those 3 men just now dealing with Daniel. It says, and he lifted up his eyes and looked. We know it was 3 angels. And there's 3 angels right here. And he lifted up his eyes and looked, and lo, 3 men stood by him. And when he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door and bowed himself toward the ground. And then he said, "My Lord." So one of them is the capital L. See that? He said, "My Lord, if now I have found favor in thy sight, pass not away, I pray thee, for my servant." So we see in verse 1, 3 men came. Verse 22, the men turned their faces, these angels, the men turned their faces from thence and went toward Sodom, right? That's in chapter 19, verse 1. Genesis 19 and 1. "And there came 2 angels to Sodom at evening, and Lot sat in the gate at Sodom, and Lot seeing them rose up to meet them, right? And he said, and he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. Same thing Daniel did. And he said, behold, my Lord, lowercase. Two of them got lowercase. Yeah. All three of them angels, but two of them got lowercase. The two that went to go check on Lot, lowercase. But verse 22, and the men turned their faces from thence, went toward Sodom. That's the two, right? But Abraham stood before the Lord, capital L. See that? So this capital L, same Lord over here, I just showed you in Psalms 110. The Lord said to my Lord. Yeah, so Yahweh ain't got nothing to do with it. Okay, that's my point I want to try to show you. So anyway, let that ferment. So I said I'm in chapter 10, verse 17. No, I read it already. So I'm in chapter 11. Okay, keep in mind, there's three angels there. Daniel chapter 11, verse 1. Also in the first year of Darius the Mede, even I stood to confirm and to strengthen him. So let's deal with that right quick. It says, also in the first year of Darius of the Medes, even I stood to confirm and strengthen him. So if we go back to, let me get it. Let me see where I was there. Yeah. Chapter 5. Nope. Chapter 5. Okay, yeah, chapter 5. Let me get it right quick. Chapter 5 says, verse 1, Belshazzar the king made a great feast to 1,000. Daniel chapter 5, verse 1. Belshazzar the king made a great feast. Everybody should know the story. Feast to 1,000 of his lords. See that? Lowercase. And drank wine before them, before the 1,000. Belshazzar, while he tasted the wine, commanded to bring in golden and silver vessels, which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple, which is in Jerusalem, that the king and his princes, and his wives, and his concubines might drink therein. Then they brought the golden vessels that were taken out of their temple of the house of God, which was at Jerusalem. And the king and the princes and his wives and his concubines drank in them. And they drank wine and praised the God of gold, and the God of silver and brass, iron and wood and stone. Right? Here you go. In the same hour came forth the fingers of a man's hand and rolled over against the candlestick upon the plaster of the wall and the king's palace, and the king saw part of the hand that was rolled. Then the king's countenance was changed, and his thoughts troubled him, so that the joints of his loins were loose, and his knees smote one against another. So for those that don't know, he peed on himself. Anyway, chapter 7, the king cried aloud to bring in the astrologers. So let me get it, keep on. Okay. So Daniel prophesied to him. When you understand the story, he asked Daniel for the understanding. Daniel told him what that meant, what the words meant, that his kingdom was going to be taken from him. So I'm gonna pick it up in 25, Daniel 5 and 25. I'll pick it up in 25. Says, then was the part 24. Then was part of the hand sent from him, and writing was written. This is the word. This is the writing that was written. Mina, Tika, Euphrasin, whatever the word is. This is the interpretation of the thing. Mina, God have numbered thy kingdom, his Belshazzar kingdom, and finished it. Tika, thou art weighed in the balances and are found wanting. Peres, thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes, right? And Persians, right? Then commanded Belshazzar, and they clothed Daniel with a scarlet and put a chain of gold about his neck and made proclamation concerning him that he should be the third ruler in the kingdom, right? And here you go, 30. In that night was Belshazzar, the king of the Chaldeans, slain. He was killed that night. But look who killed him. Darius, See that? Darius the Median took the kingdom, being about 80 and 10 years old. So it's same Darius over here, chapter 11. My point is that. See that? Also in the first year of Darius the Mede, even I stood before him. So this the Darius out of the Medes. Right? This the Darius right here. Right here. This is another Darius. So this Darius right here came before Cyrus. So you notice that Daniel was they in captivity in Babylon. Daniel broke it down and told him, the kingdom gonna be taken away. Darius came in and took the kingdom, right? So let's go to Ezra right quick. I'm in Ezra. Okay. Let me get it. Ezra, chapter 1, verse 1. Now, in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that Medes and Persians, that Medes and Persians, in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the words of the Lord, that the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled, the Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom. So Cyrus came after this guy right here. Daniel chapter 5, verse 31. Darius, the Median took the kingdom, took the Chaldean kingdom, right? See that? Being about 7 years old, Darius took it. Cyrus came after him. So you see how these books are flipped off. So Darius took it right here. This ain't the same Darius over here. Chapter 11. It says, also I, in the first year of Darius of the Medes, even I stood to firm and strengthen him. Now here we go. We're going to find out right here. It's not the same Darius. 2. And now, while I will show thee the truth, behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings in Persia. See that? Darius one of them. Darius is a Persian. So it says, Persia, the fourth shall be far richer than them all. That's who Alexander. You got to do is go to the history books. Daniel fought against Darius. Darius was the last ruler before Alexander started ruling. And when you know the story, Alexander admired Darius. But Alexander men ran Darius down and killed him before Alexander can get a chance to meet him. So it ain't the same Darius. So anyway, verse 2, and I will show thee the truth. Behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings in Persia, and the fourth shall be far richer than them all. And by his strength, through his riches, he shall stir up against the realm of Grecia. And a mighty king shall stand up that shall rule with a great dominion and do according to his will. So this was brought about the war between Darius and Alexander. It's the same Darius that conquered Belshazzar. 4. And when he shall stand up, his kingdom shall be broken, and he shall be divided toward the 4 winds of heaven, and not to his prosperity, nor according to his dominion, which he ruled, for his kingdom shall be plucked up, even for others beside those. And the king of the south shall be strong, and one of his princes, and he shall be strong above him, and have dominion, and his dominion shall be a great dominion. And in the end of the years, they shall join themselves together, for the king's daughter of the south shall come to the king of the north to make an agreement. But she shall not retain the power of the arm, neither shall he stand nor his arm, but she shall be given up. And they that brought her, and he that begot her, and he that strengthened her in these times, but out of the branch of her roots shall one stand up in his estate, which shall come with an army, and shall enter into the fortress of the king of the north, and shall deal against them, and shall prevail, and shall also carry captive into Egypt their gods, with their princes, and with their precious vessels of silver and gold, and he shall continue more years than the king of the north. So the king of the south shall come in into his kingdom and shall return to his own land, but his sons shall be stirred up and shall assemble a multitude of great forces, and one shall certainly come, overflow, pass through, then shall he return and be stirred up even to his fortress. And the king of the south shall be moved clover, and shall come forth and fight with him, even with the king of the north, and he shall set forth a great multitude, but the multitude shall be given into his hand. And when he had taken away the multitude, his heart shall be lifted up, and he shall cast down many tens of thousands, they shall not be strengthened by it. For the king of the north shall return and shall set forth a multitude greater than the former, and shall certainly come after certain years with a great army and with much riches. And in those times there shall many stand up against the king of the south. This king of the south is Ptolemy of Alexandria. Also, the robbers of thy people shall exalt themselves to establish a vision, but they shall fall. So notice we're not even in the fourth beast yet. But see where the people robbed Israel and Israel failed. Right? Says 15. So the king of the north shall come and cast up a mountain and take the most fenced cities, and the arms of the south shall not withstand neither his chosen people, neither shall there be any strength to withstand. But he that cometh against him shall do according to his own will, and none shall stand before him, and he shall stand in the glorious land, which by his hand shall be consumed. Antiochus. He shall also set his face to enter with the strength of his whole kingdom, upright ones with him. Thus shall he do, and he shall give him the daughter of the woman corrupting her, but she shall not stand on his side, neither be for him. After this shall he turn his face into the isles, and shall take many, but a prince from his own behalf shall come, cause the reproach offered by him to cease. Without his own reproach, he shall cause it to turn upon him. Then he shall turn his face toward the fort of his own land, but he shall stumble and fall and not be found. Then shall stand up in his estate a raiser of taxes in the glory of the kingdom, but within a few days he shall be destroyed, neither in anger nor in battle. And in his estate shall stand up a vile person, to whom thou shalt not give the honor of the kingdom, but he shall come in peaceably and obtain the kingdom by flatteries, and with the arm of a flood shall they be overthrown from before him, and shall be broken, yea, also the prince of the covenant. And after the league made with him, he shall work deceitfully, for he shall come up and shall become strong with a small people. He shall enter peaceably, even upon the fattest providence of the providence, and he shall do that which his fathers have not done. For his father's father, he shall scatter among them the prey, and spoil and riches, yea, and he shall forecast his devices against the stronghold, even for a time. And he shall stir up the powers of his courage against the king of the south with a great army, and the king of the south shall be stirred up to battle with a very great and mighty army, but he shall not stand, for they shall forecast devices against him. Yea, they that feed at the portion of his meat shall destroy him, and his army shall overflow, and many shall fall down slain. And both these kings' hearts are to be do mischief, and they shall speak lies at one table, but it shall not prosper, for yet the end shall be at the time appointed. Then shall he return in his land with great riches, and his heart shall be against the holy covenant, and he shall do exploits and return to his own land. And at the time appointed, he shall return and come toward the south, but it shall not be as former or as the latter. For the ships of Checham is the fourth beast, Romans. For the ships of Checham shall come up against him, therefore he shall be grieved and return to have indignation against the holy covenant. Israelites. So shall he do. He shall even return and have intelligence with them that forsake the holy covenant. And arms shall stand on his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, and shall take away the daily sacrifice, and they shall place the abomination that maketh death, right? And such as do wickedly against the covenant shall he corrupt by flatteries, but the people that do know their God shall stand and do exploits, right? And they that understand among the people shall instruct many, yet they shall fall by the sword, and by flames, and by captivity, and by spoils many days. Now when they shall fall, they shall be hoping with a little help, but many shall cleave to them with flattery. So when it says that when they shall fall, they shall be hoping with a little help, but many shall cleave to them with flatteries, right? So let's look at that. Obadiah. Okay. Obadiah. So it says right here in Obadiah. Obadiah chapter 13. It's only one chapter, verse 13, talking about Esau. Thou should not have entered into the gates of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou should not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. 14, neither should thou have stood in the crosshairs to cut off those that did escape. Neither should thou have delivered up those that did remain in the day of distress. That's what he's talking about right here. When he says, now, when they shall fall, this is Israel, the nation coming to an end. Now, when they shall fall, they shall be hoping with a little help, but many shall cleave to them with flattery. So Esau came in and killed the remnant. That's what he's talking about. Same thing. You can go back and look at it. You'll see what I'm talking about. So anyway, 35 says, and some of them of understanding shall fall to try them and to purge and to take them white, to make them white, even to the time of the end, because it is yet for a time appointed. And the king shall be to do according to his will, and he shall exalt himself, magnify himself above every God, and shall speak marvelous things against the God of gods, and shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished. For that is determined shall be done. So let's look at that. 36, the king shall do according to his will, and he shall exalt himself, magnify himself above every God, this Antiochus, and shall speak marvelous things against the God of God, and he shall prosper till the indignation. So what indignation? Back over here. Chapter 8, verse 18 says, this Gabriel came to Daniel, and he says, now, as he was speaking with me, I was in deep sleep on my face toward the ground, when he touched me and set me upright. Then 19, and he said, behold, I will make thee know what shall be in the last end of the indignation. See that? For the time appointed, the end shall be. So it's not the end of the world, because we still here. It's in the Israel as a nation. Most High indignation came to a fool. And that's what that is talking about over here in Daniel chapter 11. And it says, I just read that. Yeah, 36. And the king shall do according to his will, and he shall exalt himself, magnify himself above every God, and shall speak marvelous things against the God of gods, and shall prosper till the indignation. The indignation is over in Daniel chapter 8. Most High indignation with Israel, till the indignation be accomplished. For that time is determined shall be done. Neither shall he regard the God of his fathers, nor desire women, nor regard any God, for he shall magnify himself above all. But in his estate shall he honor the God of forces, and the God of whom his fathers knew not, shall he honor with gold, silver, and with precious stones and pleasant things. Thus shall he do in the most strange stronghold with a strange God, whom he shall acknowledge and increase with glory. This Sarabbas, and he shall cause them to rule over many, and shall divide the land for gain. And at the time of the end shall the king of the south push at him, and the king of the north shall come against him like a whirlwind with chariots and with horses and with many ships. And he shall enter into the country and shall overflow and pass over. And he shall enter also into the glorious land, this is Israel. And many countries shall be overthrown, but these shall escape out of his hand, even Edom, Moab, and the chief children of Ammon. He shall stretch forth his hands also upon the countries, and the land of Egypt shall not escape, but he shall have power over the treasures of gold and silver, and over the precious things of Egypt and Libya and Ethiopia. Ethiopia shall be at his step. But tidings out of the east and out of the north shall trouble him, wherefore he shall go forth with a great fury to destroy and utterly to make away many. And he shall plant the tabernacle of his palace between the seas of the glorious holy mountain, yet he shall come to his end, and none shall help him. So, like I was saying before, in the book of Maccabees, Michael killed Antioch Epiphanes while he was on his way right here. But it's it's the same thing. But anyway, I want to shine a light on something before I close out. It says, verse 41. It says, he shall enter into the glorious land, and many countries, right, shall be overthrown. But these shall escape out of his hand. Even so, he's going. The glorious land is Egypt, is Israel, and the person that's doing this is Antiochus. I'm gonna read that in a minute. So it says shall overthrow, right? Overthrown. But these shall escape out of his hand. Edom, Moab, and the chief of Ammon, right? So let's look at it. Let's go to Psalms 83 right quick. Okay. Psalms 83. Keep that right there. Chapter 11, verse 41. So Psalm says, and I'm showing you this for a reason, because you can see right here, this is before the fourth beast came on the scene. So Psalms 83. See that? Let's look at it. It's a prayer for Israel's destruction, right? It's a song of Asaph. Keep not silent, O God, hold not thy peace. Be not still, O God, for lo, thy enemies make a tumult. They that hate thee have lifted up the head. They that hate thee, right? Remember that. They that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against our people and consulted against our hidden ones. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may no more be in remembrance. For they have consulted together on one consent. They are confederate against thee. See that? Tabernacle of Edom, Ishmaelites, the Moabites, the Hagarenes, and Ammon. When you go back, when Antioch Epiphanes came, this who sided with him. Verse 41. He shall enter also into the glorious land. That's the land of Israel. Many countries shall be overthrown, but these shall escape out of his hand. Edom, Moab, and Ammon. They're working with him. That's the reason they escape. Okay? See that? And like I said before, this before the Romans came on the scene. Okay? Any comments? I read chapter 10 and 11. Anybody got any comments? Okay. I played this the other day. I'm gonna play a little more of it and I'm gonna close out. Oh, somebody might have missed it. Okay.
A prophetic word that I gave concerning Africa and about King Leopold of Belgium and what he did many years ago, centuries ago. And I was reminding myself that there is to remind the African nation and those that live in Africa, various parts, and you should share this with all of them. Please stay with me because I'm going somewhere with this. King Leopold basically took over Africa, and of course, there's a King Leopold type figure that is trying to move in that region right now. Amen. Now, in addition to that, while reading this, the Lord took my eyes and took me into the future. Took me into the future in what appeared to be the result or the reaction of an apocalyptic event. So I'm sitting here asking myself, am I hallucinating? What is going on and how come I'm seeing this? You should share this with everyone. And here is what I saw. I saw cruise ships on every coastline in America. I saw cruise ships. These cruise ships were in Texas, South Texas, Galveston, Florida, Louisiana, California, wherever there's a coastline, Virginia, South Carolina even. Wherever there's a coastline, I saw cruise ships, even up the Northeast Corridor, New York, Jersey, wherever there's a coastline city, I saw cruise ships docked there, and I saw people running into these ships.
Yeah, so like I said before, need I say anymore? So the thing is, the reason why I came back and back the old day was, you know, the writing on the wall, just like we just saw with Balthazar. So down south. Notice that's where we was in captivity at. The harder part of our captivity was down south. We was offloaded on those ships from the transatlantic slave trade down south. Now all of a sudden, this brother's seeing a truckload of cruise ships down south. Okay, so you want to check that out. Is God will exit us Black Americans with ships back to Africa. Prophecy. You want to check it out? I sent it to Messenger too, so you want to check it out. Any comments before we go? Let me see if I got anything over here. Okay. Okay. So with that being said, I say shalom, and I'll see everybody on Clubhouse tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.